Hey, I filmed these visuals myself with my own hands. On an actual beach. How's that for an authentic, you
There's only one rule at Cinder Bay. If you take something from the beach, you leave something behind. We broke it once. We were 12 the summer it happened. Old enough to be allowed out on our own. Young enough to think the world was basically safe. Every August, our families rented the same cottages in Cinder Bay. One road in, one road out. No arcades, no ice cream vans. Just a general store, a bait shop, and a stretch of dark, stony coastline that always looked slightly unfinished. Most people would have called it bleak. To us, it was freedom. The beach wasn't sand. It was pebbles. Smooth black stones that shifted under your feet and made a soft grinding sound when the tide rolled over them. Driftwood collected in long tangled lines near the dunes. Old rope sometimes surfaced after storms. Rusted metal appeared and vanished again with the seasons. And everywhere, if you looked closely enough, sea glass. Not the sharp kind, the softened kind, frosted by years underwater, rounded edges, dull glow instead of shine. Green was common, brown too. White, if you were patient. Blue was rare enough to matter. Red was legend. We hunted it like treasure. There were 3 of us that year. Me, Maya, and Leo. Leo couldn't do anything casually. If we skipped stones, he counted rotations. If we swam, he timed breath holds. If we raced across the dunes, he needed a clear winner. He wasn't cruel about it, just wired that way. Sea glass turned into a competition the way everything did with him. The first annual Cinder Bay Championship, he declared one evening, standing on a piece of driftwood like he was addressing a crowd. Maya laughed. I laughed. But we agreed. Point system, green and white, 1 point, blue, 10. Anything rare, automatic win. We had 2 weeks left before school. It felt like forever. We told Silas about it the next day. Silas ran the bait shop at the end of the road. The kind of place that sold fishing line, canned soup, and postcards that hadn't changed since the 80s. The bell over the door made a tired little clink every time someone entered. Leo told him we were going to clean the beach out. Silas didn't smile. If you take something from that beach, he said, leave something behind. Leo smirked. Like what? Doesn't matter. That's not how trades work, Leo said. Silas shrugged. Suit yourself. That was it. No ghost story, no warning. Just that. The first few days were perfect. Low tide in the evenings, warm light, the air smelling like salt and seaweed. We spread out and scanned the shoreline in silence, heads down, eyes tuned for colour against dark stone. The first time I found a decent piece, pale blue, smooth as bone. I remembered what Silas had said. I had a lemon sweet in my pocket. I placed it on a flat rock near where I'd found the glass. It felt stupid. Maya saw and rolled her eyes. Later that afternoon she left 2 mints behind after finding a piece of sea foam. Leo noticed. You 2 are ridiculous. But the next day, when he found a decent shard of green, he left a coin wedged between stones. We treated it like a joke. A ritual. Something to make the game feel official. By day 4, Leo was losing. Badly. Maya had found 2 blues. I'd found a handful of decent greens. Leo had mostly chips and slivers. He pretended not to care, but Leo cared. You could see it in the way he stopped joking, in the way he walked further up the shore alone, in how he stared at the tide like it was holding something back on purpose. "It's hiding them," he said once. "What is?" I asked. "The beach." It sounded dramatic, but he meant it. On the 6th night, a storm rolled through. Nothing dramatic. Just wind and rain and a long rumble of distant thunder. By morning, the tide had pulled back farther than we'd seen all week. The North Rocks were exposed, the rocks our parents had specifically told us not to climb past. Leo had a tide chart from Silas's shop. He'd bought it 2 days earlier and hadn't explained why. "Lowest tide of the month," he said quietly. He didn't ask us to follow. He just went. Maya and I trailed him to the black rocks. He climbed over before we could stop him. "Leo!" Maya shouted. He didn't turn around. The wind swallowed our voices. We stopped at the boundary. He disappeared behind stone. We waited. Longer than we should have. When he came back, he looked different. Not scared. Electric. He was soaked to the knees and breathing hard, but he was smiling in a way that didn't feel playful anymore. He didn't explain. He just emptied his pockets onto the kitchen table. Glass scattered across the wood. Deep green. Aqua. Lavender. More than we'd found all week combined. Then he reached into his back pocket. Cobalt. Thick. Heavy. Perfectly frosted. Silence fell over the room. He'd won. Easily. "Where?" Maya asked. "Past the rocks," he said. I swallowed. "What did you leave?" He looked at me like I'd asked something ridiculous. "Nothing." "You didn't leave anything." He shook his head. "It's just glass." He laughed. That laugh is the part that stuck. Not the glass. The laugh. The next morning felt wrong before we even knew why. It was leaving day. There should have been noise. Instead there was wind. Leo's bed was made, window open, curtain moving. We assumed he'd gone out early. Then Maya saw it. A piece of blue glass sitting on the deck step. Another in the grass. Another near the dunes. Placed. Not dropped. Placed. We didn't speak. We just followed. Across the pebbles. Down the shore. One piece at a time. No footprints. No drag marks. Just glass. The final piece, the cobalt one, sat at the edge of the water. The tide was coming in. We stood there long enough for a wave to reach it. It shifted once, then slid under. The trail didn't come back. They searched for days. Boats, volunteers, helicopters once. The official story was clean. He went back out, slipped, caught in a riptide. Storms change shorelines. Bodies aren't always recovered. It made sense, so people held on to it. Maya and I never talked about the trail. Not properly. We avoided the North Rocks after that, and we avoided competitions. Years passed. Cinder Bay didn't change. The beach still grinds underfoot. The tide still pulls back and returns like it always has. Sometimes I walk it alone. Sometimes I find a piece of glass. Small. Green. Nothing rare. I don't keep it. And if I ever take something, a shell, a smooth stone, a fragment of driftwood, I leave something in its place. Not because I think the ocean is watching. Not because I believe it's alive. just because the last time someone didn't. He never came back.
Hi everyone, thanks for listening.
The sea stole the boy.
Yeah, they know.
The boy stole the sea glass.
Yes?
Conclusion: the sea and the boy are engaged in mutual theft.
That's not how it works.
Recommendation: do not steal from large bodies of water.
Groundbreaking.
Additional observation: the ocean does not issue refunds.
Alright, say goodbye.
Goodbye. Avoid tidal contracts.
Good night.